Welcome to another Tellurian 22 video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It's a small action for you guys, but it means the world to us. Dendroons. Dendroons are a race of sentient tree people and one of the minimal number of plant beings that are widely considered sapient species on Tellurian. At least that we are aware of. Many dispute the placement of Concordian skull traps in the same group, but that's not for me to decide. As you'd expect, they look like trees, averaging anywhere between 6 to 14 feet tall, when gods know how around 100 to 400 pounds. Thank you, willing volunteers. Credited in the back of the book. They lack what most would refer to as a mouth, eyes, ears, or any similar bodily distinctions most species would use to perceive the world around them. If they stop walking and stay perfectly still, it can be incredibly difficult to discern them from regular trees. Yes, I said walk. If you think that's a sight to behold, just wait till you start communicating with them. Rather than a system of dedicated organs, Dendroons communicate with other species and plants using electromagnetic waves as a almost lower form of telepathy. And while they can hear, it is widely disputed if they're actually just feeling the vibrations of sound through the air, or are simply unconsciously using another form of telepathy. Regardless, communicating with them isn't all that different from any other species. Just be careful about what you're thinking around them. If it's too strong or repetitive, they will probably pick up on it. Back to vibrations, that is how they are seemingly able to walk around without the use of sight. Their navigation skills are quite remarkable considering their lack of sight, and it's almost a bit unsettling. While their telepathic range isn't entirely known and can vary between members of their species, it seems to be around 20 feet in range. They can extend this range by bouncing it off other Dendroons, but it's much closer to passing notes between people than anything else. While it can be a point of confusion, Dendroons do not possess the ability to freely communicate with other members of their species, like the Hyphalines. They are just really good at passing notes to one another. Unsurprisingly, their speed is nothing to write home about, as they can be quite sluggish. They make up for it with their immense strength and resilience to many forms of damage. They have a tough bark that they are able to harden at will to stave off many forms of damage, such as arrows and axes, but only temporarily. Dendroons are also immunized against all forms of common diseases and illnesses that afflict most other species, as well as many diseases that affect plants specifically. They are, however, quite susceptible to fire damage and are extremely cautious of lightning storms due to their extreme likelihood of being struck down if they aren't protected in some way. Dendroons don't eat like most races, but they do absorb nutrients and water through their roots, which function as their feet. Depending on the Dendroon, they don't have to feed overtly often, but they tend to stick to less polluted, radiated regions because of this. Dendroons worship a tree deity known as Ukmar. Though not a lot is known about said deity or their exact form of worship, it is believed that all Dendroons originate from Ukmar, a massive all-encompassing tree whose branches create an enormous canopy that can reach thousands of feet in any direction. As Dendroons reduce asexually, this is a convincing origin story, even if it hasn't been fully verified. It is said that Ukmar is unable to move at all, unlike the Dendroons, yet its exact location remains unknown to this day. There are reports of sightings and supposed locations of Ukmar all over Tellurian, but anytime someone tries to verify them, the alleged massive tree seemingly vanishes in an instant. Dendroons can typically be found in forests and small civilizations known as Dendroon dens. They don't typically venture far from their homes, as they don't tend to fit in well with most modern civilizations. They tend to mind their own business and don't meddle with the affairs of the world. They are also very protective of their young, as they do not gain the ability to be mobile until around 10 years of age. However, they are extremely welcoming and lawful people as long as you aren't hostile towards them. They don't offer much in the way of shops or amenities, but they are still worth a visit, unsurprisingly, as they sleep standing up. Though it's more of a rest, you won't find any inns nearby. The ones I asked got very offended when I wanted to sleep up in their branches, so unfortunately your visit will be stuck on the ground. Not any different from roughing it in the woods. As a personal note, I'd recommend leaning up against a tree that won't move in the middle of the night. 2 out of 10. As Dendroons don't eat anything themselves, be prepared to scavenge for almost every meal during your stay. They will occasionally sell some of their gathered goods as they would otherwise use for composting, such as fish and fruit. Fair warning, do not eat fruit or nuts near them as they become extremely hostile. They can logically comprehend other species eating such things and don't hold it against anyone, but if it's done in their presence, that's a whole other story. I have only one word of advice from experience. Run.